Oh boy. It's happening right here in the US now. After reporting on the investigative actions that are happening over in the UK yesterday, reporting on that story yesterday anyway, in regards to the app stores with Apple and Google, we now have some real action here in the United States, here at home, for me anyway. And it seems like the legislature is actually looking into some mega deals that took place several years ago. And is now seeing just how bad that was for consumers. Ironically, it's all Taylor Swift's fault. No, seriously. Or maybe I should just say it's her ticket seller's fault. Are you intrigued? All right, well, let's get at it. Here we go. All right, let's start here. Some parents, young adults, and kids all queued up for some concert tickets virtually. Well, that didn't go well at all. The systems failed. People were locked out entirely, and it created some real news for a change. And we're going to pick this up from an article from Vulture that I think is kind of fairly written, and they did a good job here. So when the pre-sales began, November 15th, fans found themselves in virtual lines of, thousands and thousands of people, which you would expect, right? Because it's like Taylor Swift. There's a lot of Swifties out there, right? Well, if they were lucky enough to get a verified fan pre-sale code to buy the tickets, some of which were significantly marked up, the platform eventually crashed, which delayed the pre-sale. Now, the general sale, which was planned for November 18th, was canceled by Ticketmaster. Swift herself actually expressed disappointment in the sale, writing on her Instagram story, which I guess is quite the weapon for these stars and starlets, that hearing fan issues pisses me off, and that Ticketmaster assured her that it could handle the demand in the beginning. Now, politicians and state legislatures are taking it upon themselves to look into the ticketing business. Legislators are indeed completely involved at this point. But this story starts before the story I just pulled from the article itself. It starts 13 years earlier. And it seems that the Obama administration at the time was talking about a getting tough plan on competition limiting mergers and acquisitions. This was around the time when Live Nation and Ticketmaster were looking into becoming one company, with Live Nation acquiring Ticketmaster as a business entity. And despite lawmakers, artists, venues, and of course competitors rising in opposition to this particular purchase, the process itself pressed on. Antitrust experts weighed in at the time, predicting that the deal would be halted by the government in court. Probably should have been stopped right there in its tracks. And I think that's going to happen more and more frequently, but we'll move on there. Christine Varney, that name may be familiar to some of you, was the head of the Justice Department's antitrust division at the time. And she elected not to pursue court action. She stated specifically that after some concessions were made to relieve her concerns about anti-competitive nature of the deal, she also went on to say that she expected ticket prices to decline as a result. Boy, was she wrong. Have you seen the cost for going to a concert or an event now? Good gravy. So after failing to monitor the combined new entity as promised 13 years ago for a period of 10 years, a Senate antitrust panel will be holding a hearing on the lack of competition in the industry overall. Now, that glaringly obvious notion should have been clear, as this is not the first example of Ticketmaster's failure. It's happened a lot recently. And in a statement from Amy Klobuchar, one of the senators that's on board with this whole thing, said that last week The competition problem in ticketing markets was made painfully obvious when Ticketmaster's website failed hundreds of thousands of fans hoping to purchase concert tickets. The high fees, site disruptions, and cancellations that customers experience show how Ticketmaster's dominant market position means the company does not face any pressure to continually innovate and improve. That's true. That's true. It's a definition of monopoly, right? Now, it seems that both sides of the aisle are on this one for a change, and they're both on the same side, which is kind of nice to see. That doesn't happen very often. It seems to be motivating the Justice Department, since they're the ones who clearly dropped the ball on this all these years ago, and then, of course, failed to monitor. And apparently, perhaps, according to the Justice Department, they'd already been well aware and investigating Ticketmaster at this point. How convenient. So to pick up a little further down the story, we'll join in here saying that both Amy Klobuchar and Mike Lee essentially announced on November 22nd, so just a couple days ago, that they're going to be holding hearings on the lack of competition in ticket sales. Again, citing the statement as made before that last week the competition problem in ticketing markets was made painfully obvious when Ticketmaster's website failed hundreds of thousands of fans hoping to purchase concert tickets. That's why we will hold a hearing on how consolidation in the live entertainment and ticketing industry harms customers and artists alike. I agree fully. When there is no competition to incentivize better services and fairer prices, we all suffer the consequences. Now, to date, obviously, no hearings date has been named specifically or any witnesses, but I imagine those will be coming forth shortly, probably after the Thanksgiving holiday. Now, as I mentioned, the Justice Department is reportedly investigating the company on top of those inquiries, and you have multiple states involved in this who've been criticizing them. You have the New York Times reporting that antitrust staff has been looking into Ticketmaster's merger with Live Nation for months. As mentioned, this is a one-off event. I think I mentioned that before. It's also not the only thing that is putting Ticketmaster front and center with considerable scrutiny, more so than even from the government, right? Junk fees and platinum pricing is bringing some artists to criticize the spiking ticket prices and all of the other things that have been going along with it. Now, I think this one may stick, to be honest with you, when it comes to Ticketmaster, and I think that this deal from 2010 or 2011, whenever it completed, actually gets rolled back. It may also bring with it some new or other ticket sellers that will come into existence, because it'll create competition, and competition is good for the artists, the venues, and most definitely for us consumers. It's also going to draw attention to other mega mergers and acquisitions that were forthcoming, and kind of make things like Apple acquiring Disney rather laughable. But I'll set that to the side for now and just ask you, what do you think? Do you think that this deal gets rolled back? I think so. Do you think that we will see other deals rolled back as well? That's a more interesting question. I think it could happen. And do you actually think we'll see some breakups, kind of breakups like the Ma Bell situation, where you break up them into a bunch of little companies? You think that's going to happen between a lot of monopolies and duopolies in the future? It could. The government does not like competition. I'm going to keep saying that. These companies are competing with them. They don't like it. So I asked some hefty questions, some pretty healthy ones, and well, maybe we can talk about this, because I really do take this antitrust stuff seriously, and I like getting conversations going on the subject matter. So feel free to drop those comments down below, and hopefully we can have that conversation. And with that, I'm going to assume you already are supporting a lot of great content creators out there. Be sure you turn on notifications for them, hit that like button on the videos you like, share out what they're doing, and of course comment, because it drives engagement. I ask you to do it on all my videos and live streams, and I hope you're doing it for other creators as well, because it really does help. And with that, on this Thanksgiving Day, be sure to take care of yourself, take care of others, wash your hands, of course, because it's good hygiene. Be thankful for those around you and everything that you have. And until next time, bye. 5 stories a day. Good gravy. And don't forget to check out my Rumble at rumble.com/CultureCasino.
Thanks for visiting today. Be sure you're subscribed and hit that for alerts.
Yay!
Of course, like and share all of the videos that you can, as it helps with the algorithm. Have a great day.